All right, man. So let me set it up real quick before. All right, so it's funny how life tends to be. Man, I just edited the Championship Sunday pod, and it's funny that me and Minyon were talking about rumors of the Cowboys not really knowing what they were going to do as far as the offense coordinator. So he had heard some things, I had heard some things. We were kind of shooting some ideas about, but we didn't know stuff was going to happen. All right. I just got done editing the Championship Sunday podcast. That'll be up today. And I'm literally in the kitchen fixing myself lunch. And the news breaks on Twitter that Scott Linehan got fired. Minyon's back on the phone with me because he called me. And Minyon, go, man. What is your reaction to this? Because you were saying you were hearing some things, but you weren't really sure what they were doing. What is your reaction to this, man? Go.
Well, I heard a lot of mixed things going on, but as you know, with the Cowboys, they always put out certain things in the air, in the cosmos, that just has you thinking, okay, well, are they or are they not going to get rid of them? Well, there was another side that said, oh, they're not going to get rid of him. They're gonna hire an assistant for him, or they're going to make him an assistant offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about before we cut the mic on do the championship thing. And so I figured, like, okay, this is just a rumor. There's no reason to hit the button on for this. And then, literally, dude, I go on Twitter after we got off the phone, and Scott Linehan got fired. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a situation where, like, for me, I was hearing so many different things, and that of that nature, and I knew I was like, okay, this is the Cowboys. In my head, I said they have something up their sleeve that they're not telling us, and I knew, I was like, you know what? In my mind, I was thinking they're gonna get rid of him. Like, overall, I think they're gonna get rid of him, because even if they gave him, like, if they made him an assistant offensive coordinator and they brought in a head offensive coordinator, if you think about it, that's what they did with Jason Garrett like years ago. They made him a walking head coach. I don't know what that was about. I don't know. But if they did that with Scott Linehan, I think that would have just been that would have been, you would have known that was the end of the road. I guess they had a meeting and they were like, look, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go ahead and part ways with him and bring somebody else in. Now, who will they bring? My hope, but I think a lot of Cowboy fans would like to see it. I don't know, though, because it's going to deal with a lot of money. On the other hand, he is a part of the Jones family, and we're talking about Tony Romo.
Cuz, what is your thoughts about Tony Romo being an offense coordinator? We've talked about this at length.
I think Tony Romo as an offense coordinator would be very wise, just because of the first year he had with Dak, and overall years he spent with the Cowboys. He knows that system, and he knows how to operate it well. It's good for Dak because Tony Romo is a playground type of quarterback. So is Dak Prescott when allowed, and that's when Dak Prescott shines the most. Because if you notice with Tony Romo back in the day, quiet as it's kept, Tony Romo was in Dak Prescott's ear all the time, telling him what he should do and that kind of thing, and he was successful at it.
Okay, so I need you to let's restate what you said basically, because I had to change. Excuse me, I had to plug the phone up to to charge up the phone. This is all breaking. Anyway. So basically, what you said with Tony Romo is that Tony Romo is a playground quarterback, and under his tutelage, Dak's rookie year, he'll be able to break. Dak's a playground quarterback when allowed. So they're basically similar in the fact that they can do well once plays break down. And you're saying under Tony Romo's guidance, his rookie year, he was able to do that.
Right.
Because my whole thing is, like, this doesn't... Because I said on Twitter, I posted on Twitter, I was like, okay, so Cowboy Nation, who's going to be the fall guy when Garrett's plays don't work? Because you can hire whoever you want. If the plays aren't going to work because Garrett's going to call the plays that he wants, what's the point? See what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to, like I've said every time we talk about the Cowboys, the situation is not Linehan. Linehan was fine. It's just Garrett runs what he wants to run. And if it doesn't work, he said it this season, we're going to let Linehan call plays now.
Right.
Like, but what was he doing before? So, okay, you fired him, which, because we have been hearing before, oh, they're not going to fire him. Everything's going to be fine. We're going to keep status quo. I didn't think that Garrett was going to, leave because, I didn't think Linehan was going to leave because everybody did well. The issue for me has never been, I've said it once and I'll say it again. The issue for me with this team is Jason Garrett, period. Like, he's not good. His offense works, but it doesn't work with Dak Prescott. Like, you're going to have to get another QB. You're going to have to do that. Or you're going to have to let the offense, whoever they bring in, you got to let the offense coordinator do what. Because what I've said, what Linehan was trying to do this season, quiet as kept, worked. Because if you remember the initial article where he was trying to run a pass, happy kind of, we're going to develop a wide receiver by committee and see what happens and see who Dak meshes with. That's a rough, we're going to give the keys to Dak, we're going to trade, we're going to let Dez go, and we're not going to have a number one receiver. We're just going to see who emerges. Because I was saying before, the reason that you run that offense, the wide receiver by committee stuff, is two reasons. One, you have a quarterback that doesn't lock on receivers and just throws to who's open and doesn't really have a guy. Or two, you really don't have a receiving core anyway. We're going to see what we have, and we're going to develop one, and we're going to see whoever clicks with quarterback, and that'll be the number one guy. So what Linehan was originally trying to do, quiet as kept, it worked because you've kind of developed Gallup. Now, because of Jerry's and the fan base and whatever else, and I'm not going to get into my fan base rant here, you got Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is your number one draft pick anyway. So because you traded your number one pick for him. It worked out. The defense did well, and the defense did well anyway, so they ended up making it to the playoffs. But Linehan was not your problem. Jason Garrett is your problem. But Linehan's going to be the fall guy, and whoever they pick, unless it's Tony Romo, because I think, and I want you to talk about Jason's relationship with Tony and how you think that's going to go. Because I think Cowboy Nation fans hearing this probably think we're nuts. But if you really think about it, under his best year, like you said, Tony was guiding him. And I think whoever else is going to come in here, if it isn't him, Jason's going to run what he runs anyway. So it doesn't matter. So how do you think that offense is going to get better, or what did you see during Dak's rookie year to where, because it was still Jason Garrett's offense, it was just it seemed to work his rookie year. Like what did you see, and like if they get Tony Romo, what did you see to where this can work?
Where like as far as from Dak's first year till now?
Yeah, like my whole thing is if we get if you get somebody else that doesn't know the offense and you're gonna try to like put new things in the offense, I would just listen to the fan before you called me, dude. And they mentioned exactly what we've been talking about. If you get somebody else in here, yeah, they're gonna put wrinkles in, but generally it's gonna be Jason Garrett's offense. If you get somebody like what you're saying with Tony Romo's situation, Tony Romo is going to run a variant of what Jason runs. And I think it'll work because there's not going to be a lot of wrinkles. What I'm trying to figure out, and I want you to explain to the audience is, what did you see as far as Dak's first year where Tony was kind of calling plays for him to where this will work? Because I think even though this sounds crazy as heck to do, I think this will be the only way, unless they promote from within. I think this is the only way where this will actually work. And I just want you to I just want your opinion on how would you see it working.
Well, I think by bringing in somebody new, if they do it correctly, if they do this correctly, bring somebody new in with a new scheme of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think overall what's going to have to happen is Jason Garrett's going to have to be open to change. That's pretty much it.
But what if, but in regards to, let's say they do your idea and they bring Tony Romo in, right? Because I know that Tony's going to basically run what Garrett runs, but in his own way. So what did you see in Tony's year as a de facto coordinator when Dak was a rookie? What did you see that's going to make this work?
Well, I think that with the way that Tony approaches Jason Garrett's offense,
mm-hmm.
and he explains and teaches it to Dak and the other offensive players, I think by having, you know how it is when you're a parent of a teenager, your parent technically doesn't want to, not your parent, but the kid. Sometimes, in some cases, the kid doesn't really listen to the parent, but
mm-hmm.
it seems like they listen well to other adults that approach them about certain things.
Right.
I think it's gonna be kind of like that. I think that with Tony Romo not being as far removed from the NFL, and he's still got that mindset of what it takes and what today's NFL is about.
Mm-hmm.
I think that overall, by his presence being there, is gonna mean great things for Dallas if that happens. Because we can have Jason Garrett's offense. That's fine. We can have it. It's just we need somebody else in there, like the offense coordinator position, to where Dak Prescott he can do his thing. Because the first year when Romo when he was hurt and Dak stepped in, quiet as it's kept, and from what I've learned and gathered through sources and seen it, that when Romo was in his ear that entire time, coaching him through that year, and you see what happened. The proof was in the pudding. Tony understood what Dak Prescott was, and he understood what that team, what the offensive side was, and he made it to be something special that year. And so, in my opinion, had Tony Romo been the offensive coordinator this year, and they had made those changes with Amari Cooper and all that kind of stuff,
right.
Dak Prescott, the Cowboys probably would have been competing still, in my opinion. They probably would have still been competing had
i.e. they would have beat the Rams. I.e. they would have beat the Rams.
They would have beat the Rams, yes. Because once again, Dak Prescott and Tony Romo, those two together, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's been proven already that it is. Tony Romo would have him do exactly what he did that first year and not change nothing.
What do you think the problems this year are versus Dak's rookie year? Like,
his rookie year, his rookie year, you saw play action a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You saw play action a lot. You saw him take off with the ball when he needed to. That was part of the reason people were like, "Oh snap, this kid's got some legs."
Yeah.
So that playground. I'm just gonna dominate now. That's the kind of mindset that you have to have. That versus this year, he didn't have that. It was more like, okay, let's try throwing the ball down the field. Let's try getting Ezekiel Elliott down the field, which was a great idea. Too bad they couldn't stick to it.
Yeah.
Let's try this and let's try that. Look, how about you stick to the game plan from year one when Dak Prescott came in? How about you stick to that game plan and add on good things like putting Ezekiel Elliott down the field? Add good things. Don't take away from it. Just add good things in there. You know? That's exactly what I think Tony Romo would do. He'd say, okay, let's go back to year one when you dominated that year. We're gonna go back to that, and now we're just gonna add on more good things to that.
Just basically
you can be more of an effective quarterback.
Like I think, and it's been said, like he needs to run, like when the ball breaks down, when the play breaks down, run the ball. Like
yeah.
you run the ball. Like Dak can throw. He isn't a running quarterback. He's an athletic quarterback. Run the ball. Let him move around, man. Like I don't understand the whole because people are like concepts, and we need to have these concepts, and we need to have the modern NFL. Like, look, man, like it's not the problem of not having modern principles. Like, yeah, like I think Dak will be better. I've said it. We talked about it. Like before we started recording, the championship one, and we were discussing this there. Yeah, like I think Dak would be better in an RPO system, in a true RPO system where people really don't understand like option and run, like option and RPO, run pass option, QB option and run pass option. That's a different thing. Run pass option, you literally come to the line of scrimmage with two plays, and you look at your defense, and then you go, okay, based on the defense, we're either going to do a run here or we're going to do a pass here. And you have two plays in like every time you go to the line of scrimmage. And what makes RPO dangerous for mobile quarterbacks is if the play breaks down, the third option is to take the ball and run. So it's like you have two running plays if you have a running quarterback, and then you have a passing play, and the defense really doesn't know how to react to that. You're reacting to the defense, and based on what the defense is, you have two, in some cases, 3 plays to pull from. Jason Garrett is not going to run that. We can talk about, and people can talk about how That's the modern NFL and everything. And because there's either run pass option or RPO, or you're sending your guys in space. Everybody's running this RPO stuff, and basically the RPO, the West Coast RPO hybrid stuff, where everybody's in space, where you throw guys in, where you throw guys in space, and you have spread principles and stuff. You know, where you have spread principles and you have like shotgun principles and everything, like the air raid principles and stuff, which, you know, has been in the NFL too. You can do that, but if you can talk about having those in there, but if Jason Garrett's not doing that, then if he doesn't want to do that, then it doesn't matter. And going back to what you said about Romo coaching him, it did seem, because they weren't asking him to do a lot, it did seem like he was able to take the ball and run. And it wasn't like, they didn't run a pure RPO system. They ran what they ran, but it seemed like with Garrett, it was like, well, with Romo coaching Dak up, it was like when plays broke down, he was able to take off. You know what I'm saying? And then there was a lot of goal line runs with him, and you know, it just seemed like it was almost like you had two running backs on the field all the time. Yeah. And it just seemed like this season, it seemed like everybody was scared to move, was scared to have him run. But you had brought up some earlier. I'm bringing back another part of our previous conversation about this. You brought up some earlier about the backup quarterback situation as to why they're not doing that.
Right.
Can you go into that for me, please?
Okay. Say it again. I'm sorry to hear you.
All right. You had mentioned earlier before that the reason why Dak wasn't running the ball last season, and they weren't having him take off and run very often, was because they had a backup quarterback situation. Could you go into more detail about that?
The backup quarterback situation. Oh, man. Yeah, Cooper Rush, man, he's not the guy. I think they're... I mean, I've sat back and I've watched him, and it's mind-blowing. And really a non-athletic he is. Dak Prescott, I'm sorry, knock on wood, and I hope it never happens, but if he goes down, we're in trouble.
Wow.
We're in trouble. You're talking about people wondering, why aren't there any adjustments being made? We can't. We can't make any adjustment. Why? Because we have an offense, an RPO-style offense, with a non-RPO quarterback. And that's Cooper Rush. So, I mean, and his arm guys, yeah. There's times where I've seen him throw a ball and it has wings. Basically, what Chris said earlier when we were talking, Quincy Carter's arm.
Yeah, I did. He does throw ducks. Because remember Cowboy Nation and Quincy Carter years where he would just throw the ball up in the air, everybody had a chance. He was like, bro, why is it floating like that?
Right, all you had to do was grab a wing and you caught an interception. You know, I'm telling you guys, he's not what we need.
Bro, but that's the thing though. So basically, they put themselves in a situation where Dak's the only guy, and they don't care about the backup quarterback situation again. Because remember the years where Tony Romo was the dude, and it was like, we're not gonna care about a backup QB at all. And then when Tony Romo got hurt, it was like, oh crap, we need a backup QB now.
Right.
So now basically they put themselves in the same situation with Dak and Cooper Rush. as to where Dak can't get hurt because they don't want Cooper Rush to take snaps.
Man, exactly.
See, I always thought Cooper Rush had a little bit of ability because there was the Hall of Fame game a couple years ago against the Cardinals. He did crazy shit.
Yeah, we no. I don't know. If we're trying to compete, Cooper Rush isn't the guy, man.
So we need a back. So we need a backup. So we need a backup QB now.
That's it.
All right, man. So, okay. So you want Tony Romo to you want Tony Romo to be the offense coordinator. You want them to shock the world and bring Tony Romo back as an OC. I just don't think, other than him, we could talk about candidates, but again, it doesn't matter until the Red Rifleman goes away. Because again, he's gonna run what he runs until it doesn't work. Then he's gonna let his offense coordinator, just like Linehan did. Because just like Linehan did, man. Linehan was the fall guy for when Garrett's offense didn't work. Because anybody that watched, he's been here. I didn't even know he's been on the staff for 5 years. But anytime stuff didn't work, it was, okay, Linehan's going to call plays. And then when Linehan stuff didn't work, it was okay, Jason's going to call plays now.
Yeah, right.
So, to me, I'm glad that we're talking about this, but to me, it's I'm not going to go over, candidates because both of us agreed that the best year Dak had was Jason Garrett, Linehan, and Tony Romo basically in Dak's ear saying, all right, man, this is how this play is going to go. Do this. Unless that happens, I don't see the point because you can put you can get an RPO coach, but Garrett's not going to run that system. I know he's not. Garrett's going to run what Garrett runs. So what's going to end up happening is they're going to get somebody that Garrett really, that is going to be part of the organization and give ideas, but I don't think that's going to change anything.
I don't either.
So, but yeah, man. Do you have any more strong thoughts about this whole situation, bro?
I don't, man. I'm interested to see where they go with this.
Well, I am too, bro. I'm pretty sure there's going to be talk about. Now, I will say this though, because Sean Payton has a history with the Cowboys. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody from Sean Payton's staff comes to the Cowboys as OC, just because I think the history with Sean Payton, and again, I don't know if Garrett's going to be able, because they don't really run an RPO system either. You know what I'm saying? So, and Sean Payton was OC for years, so I could see somebody coming in from the Saints and bringing some stuff from what the Saints run, and I think they're clicking well. But yeah, man, I don't see them going pure RPO, let's run in space or whatever. Because Linehan tried to do that, and it didn't work because we didn't have the quarterback or the receivers yet. We had to develop receivers to do it. So I'm hoping that they just decide to let everybody go and they let Garrett go too. But because I don't see offense coordinator independently of maybe Romo and a couple other people, maybe from the Saints, to come in to really do anything.
True that.
So, but anyway, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, go ahead. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say, but anyway, that's our thoughts about this sudden Cowboys news. Wow. So that'll be up this will be up as soon as I get finished eating. And then the championship Sunday will be up right after that. So yeah, man. Minyon, thank you for giving your thoughts here. And
no problem.
On this breaking news, man. Anyway, Cowboy Nation and Push Wild Black fam, I will see you next week unless something crazy happens. You know how it is. Later.
Later.